Hello everyone and welcome to my very first Borderlands 3 build, the Skilled Killer. This is a build for Zane which is fast, fun, and is based on killing lots of things. So without any more of a delay, let's just get started. So the build really is just about moving around the battlefield quickly, slaying lots of enemies, and having a fun time, because Zane might not necessarily be the most powerful character, but he's definitely the one I've had most fun with. So to start off, let's take a look at the skill trees and jump in game right now. Here we are. So the first skill tree, no, I don't want it to say, there we go. Perfect. On to this one. The equip slot for some reason is showing up down there. There we go. So first up we have Sentinel. This is an automated drone you'll see on the right hand side hovering there, which you send into battle. Machine gun damage 468, duration 24 seconds, cooldown 60 seconds. It's all right on its own. Without upgrades, it's not going to do anything amazing, but once we've got it upgraded, it's going to be pretty great. So first off on leveling, we have Violent Speed 5 out of 5. This is maxed out. Kill Skill. After killing an enemy, Zane gains increased movement speed for a few seconds. And for 15 seconds after a kill, we get 25% movement speed. That's part of the speed element. To then tie in with that, 5 out of 5 on Violent Momentum. Zane's gun damage is increased while moving. The quicker he moves, the greater the gun damage bonus. So gun damage plus 20% at default walk speed. So when you're walking, that's 20% better damage. Now, I'm not some technical wizard, I can't check the numbers myself, I'm not sure how to check it. But with nope, wrong one of them. There we go. With movement speed plus 25% as well, I'm guessing that gun damage is being boosted a hell of a lot more than just 20% when I'm sprinting around the battlefield. Now, on to the next tree, where we have 3 out of 5 in Salvation. Kill Skill. After killing an enemy, Zane's weapons gain lifesteal for a few seconds. So for 15 seconds, 6% of damage dealt gets returned to us as health. This is amazing for staying alive. I only put 3 into it because that is honestly all you'll ever need. It's probably more than you'll need, to be fair. And next is Drone Delivery. Sentinel will occasionally drop a free grenade based on Zane's current grenade mod while attacking enemies. This is where Sentinel starts getting actually quite good, because he'll fly into combat and drop just a random grenade down. Very helpful. Another skill we just have one of is Cool Hand. Zane gains increased reload speed and kill speed. After killing an enemy, Zane's reload speed is increased for a few seconds. This is literally just faster reload. It's nothing amazing, but you need the extra points for going further down in the tree, I've found. The first skill, which really makes this build complete, is Death Follows Close. All of Zane's kill skills gain increased effect and duration. Current effect, kill skill bonus plus 25% and kill skill duration plus 7 seconds. So that means Cool Hand, Salvation, and not Violent Momentum, and Violent Speed. All of those kill skills immediately get boosted by 25% and last 7 seconds longer. Kill skills with this build are utterly amazing. Speaking of which, Violent Violence, the next kill skill. After killing an enemy, Zane gains increased fire rate for a few seconds. So duration of 15 seconds, fire rate plus 5%. Keep in mind though that duration is going to be increased to 22 seconds, thanks to Death Follows Close, and the skill bonus of plus 25% means it's more like 6% fire rate rather than 5%. I have only gone 1 point into this. It's one of those skills you could improve on later on with the build if the level cap gets raised, but I found it wasn't too critical for the most part. One that I did max out was Playing Dirty. Kill Skill. After killing an enemy, Zane's next 5 shots all have a chance to fire an additional projectile. Extra shot chance, 50%. So the 5 shots after a kill have a 50% chance of firing an extra projectile. Oh wait, no they don't, they've got an extra 25% bonus? So what's that going to be, like? 25% of 50 would be 12.5, so that's 62.5% chance of an extra shot. So basically, most of the next 5 shots are going to have, 3 of your next 5 shots are probably going to fire an extra projectile. Very nice having that extra damage output. Then we have maxed out Good Misfortune. Another kill skill. Killing an enemy increases Zane's action skill duration. This skill has diminishing returns. So duration return up to 12% maximum duration. Now this is going to tie into the next tree which we'll be going over in a second, but once again, another kill skill. This Hitman skill tree is all about those kill skills. And finally, activating an action skill automatically activates all of Zane's kill skills, seeing red. This, for one point, is amazing. Having all of your kill skills trigger at once just by activating an action skill is pretty insane, and it's great in the fights where you might just be fighting a single very strong enemy and can't necessarily get a kill off straight away. Very helpful to have Seeing Red. On to the next tree. This is the doubled agent tree, where first off, Synchronicity, 2 out of 5. Whenever one or more of Zane's action skills are active, he gains increased gun damage for each active action skill. So plus 8% gun damage per active action skill. You have 2 action skills you can use at a time with Zane, so that's either plus 8% or plus 16% gun damage you're getting pretty much all the time you've got an action skill up. Just a nice little one, something once again you might want to put more ranks into later on if the level cap goes higher than 50. A skill we have maxed out is Borrowed Time. Zane gains increased action skill duration for every active action skill. So plus 15% or plus 30% action skill duration for each action skill. So if you've got Digiclone and Sentinel up, then that means each of them last 30% longer. So that's just going to mean your action skills are around for longer. Now here's an interesting one, Duct Tape Mod. 1 out of 5, the first shot fired from Zane's gun has a chance to also fire a grenade. This skill has a short cooldown, so an 8-second cooldown and up to 4% chance that a grenade is fired with your first shot. This is just kind of fun. Like, it is by no means an amazing, skill. It might not even be worth the perk for you, but fun is a part of this, and I just love occasionally firing my gun and having a grenade shoot out the front of it. It really messes things up sometimes for both me and the enemy, depending on what's going on, but it's just great. Next up, Fractal Frags. The Digiclone throws a copy of Zane's current grenade mod when it is first activated. If the Digiclone is killed, it drops a free grenade. Kill skill. Killing an enemy while the Digiclone is active gives the clone a chance to throw a grenade. And grenade chance 30%. So that right there is another kill skill, which another kill skill, and your digital grenades suddenly can throw grenades. Because the thing with Zane is, he has 2 action skills he can activate, but he cannot use a grenade or throw a grenade himself if he's using both action skills. So instead we rely on the Sentinel and the Digiclone to do our grenade throwing for us. Something we will get onto just in a little bit with the equipment. Now, 5 out of 5 on Donnybrook. Kill skill, yep, we've got another one. Whenever Zane kills an enemy, he and his Digiclone receive increased gun damage and gain health regeneration for a few seconds. So 15 seconds, we get 3.1% health regen and 19% gun damage. You can kind of see where this is going, can't you? There's a ludicrous number of kill skills. We'll actually count them up at the end. Then on to the 1 of 1 we've got here on this little bit. Whenever Zane swaps place with his clone, his shield immediately begins recharging. This is a kind of minor skill really, but it is quite helpful for if your shield suddenly gets knocked down, you need to recharge it straight away because you're in combat, swap places with your clone, all of a sudden it's getting booted back up. Just a handy little quick breather, as it says. Now, 1 out of 1, Old You. Press F, or it's the weird mouse button, basically activate your Digiclone whilst it's up during Fight for Your Life, and you destroy it and get a second wind, with full health. The greatest trick the Dever ever pulled was convincing the world he was actually a hologram. Love that little line they've done there. Yeah, this is a safety net perk, that's all it is. If you think you're about to go down, make sure you can get your Digiclone out, then when you go down, press the button to activate it again, clone will be destroyed, which means it will drop a grenade, yeah, pretty sweet, and you'll come back up and have a second chance. This is a really good way to just keep yourself alive. I've also got, 1 out of 3 on here. Why did I pick this perk again? This is one I'm not too certain about. I don't really think I need it, but I end up keep getting it, and I can't even remember why I take it. Actually, I think I was supposed to get another one of this, maybe, who knows. Kill skill after killing an enemy, Zane gains grenade regeneration for a few seconds. You don't need this. I mean, it's kind of helpful in combination with this perk here. Whenever Zane summons his Digiclone, it consumes up to 3 grenades. For every grenade consumed, the Digiclone gains increased gun damage, max health, fire rate, reload speed, and Digiclone duration. So, as you can see there, plus 20% per grenade for gun damage, plus 81% health per grenade, plus 5% fire rate, plus 31% reload speed, and plus 25% duration. So having a grenade regeneration is kind of nice, but if you pick up a lot of ammo, you don't really need that one. Now, back onto here, Supersonic Man. Whenever one or more of Zane's action skills are active, he gains increased movement speed for each active action skill, so plus 12% or plus 24% movement speed. Zane's just fast again. It's nice being incredibly fast with this character. And finally, Like a Ghost, only got 1 point in this, but this is another one you might want more of. Zane and his Digiclone gain a chance to ignore bullets. This chance is increased for a few seconds after activating an action skill, the effect stacks. So standard ignore bullet chance is 2%, and the additional chance is plus 3%, so in total 5% chance to ignore a bullet when you activate an action skill, 2% the rest of the time. It's just kind of nice, just occasionally not getting shot. I'm a big fan of it. Now, onto the action skills themselves. We've got the Digiclone, where you just summon a digital version of yourself. I'll show that off in a second. And Binary System. Whenever Zane swaps places with his clone, a Cryo Nova is triggered around Zane and his clone. Just a nice cryo attack you can kind of do by switching places. Can come in very handy if you get swarmed. You swap places with your clone, everything around you and everything around the clone takes a bit of damage, slows them down as well, which can be incredibly helpful for getting away. And something I've only been experimenting with very recently is which one's real. Enemies are more likely to target the clone for a few seconds after it's summoned and after swapping places. So 4 seconds after it pops out and 4 seconds after you swap places, enemies are more likely to fight the clone than they are you. This is actually proving very helpful for me just in the short amount of time I've been testing. It's a real good way to, if you are getting in danger, swap places with your clone, which makes a Cryo Nova. Everyone then attacks your clone for a few seconds, you have a chance to heal, you've probably got a kill skill going off, you've probably got tons of health regeneration, so it's really nice to just be able to do that, be able to get your health back. Now, as for the skills for the Sentinel, we have Bad Dose. Sentinel occasionally shoots out a beam of radiation that weakens enemies and buffs Zane. For every weakened enemy, Zane's movement speed and fire rate are increased. Weakened enemies have decreased movement speed and attack speed. So you get plus 6% movement speed per enemy that's hit by this radiation beam. Which, yeah, this is just another thing which boosts your movement speed, which can make Zane like stupid fast in the middle of combat, as you'll be seeing in lots of the combat footage I'll show off in this video. The other skill I have is Static Field. Sentinel emits a static field that sends a shock beam to nearby enemies, draining their shields and replenishing Zane's. So this is just a great way to deal with enemy shields, which can sometimes be a pain, whilst also rebuffing your own shield, which is just good to have at full as often as you possibly can. That is it for the skill tree. Now let's show off some of the equipment I'm using as well. Now for guns, you can really get away with just about anything with this build, but the weapon I've been using more than anything is the Cutsman here. This gun is just absolutely incredible. It does all of the heavy lifting really. It is insanely good. Like I've got it at level 49, not level 50. The extra melee damage for it being a bladed one isn't necessary. Like, this is far from the best version of a Cutsman you can get, but I'd say it's the closest thing to a god gun in the game right now. It is just insanely good. More than anything, you're wanting guns which you can just act quickly with, which put out a lot of damage, and which you're comfortable with using. You don't want any surprises whilst jumping around the battlefield. So for this, or for me at least, the Cutsman is a really reliable gun. Just joo. I know enemies are going to die, I don't need to stick around to watch it. The damage will hit them, it's perfect. For my other guns, I've got the boring gun here. This does... I can actually show off, so let's show off the Cutsman here. This gun fires like so. Those beams, you don't need to be accurate with them. And let's just summon the Digiclone so I get a bit faster movement speed. When you're zipping around the battlefield, this is by no means the fastest I can go, but when you're zipping around like so, you don't want to have to focus too much on accuracy. Now next up we have the boring gun here. This thing fires in quite an interesting way. Let's also just teleport between the clone because that's fun. It fires out some saw blades which explode. Once again, no need for accuracy. These things, yeah, will just... Oh, and what you see there is my grenade activating from firing a first shot. This thing, you just fire out these saw blades, create some chaos. Once again, you don't want to have to focus too much on accuracy. And along the same lines, I've got a rocket launcher. Doesn't matter what rocket launcher you do, just, for me, more than anything, this is a way to get out of Fight for Your Life if my Digiclone isn't up. Fires a nice, big cryoblast, good for dealing with huge enemies. Now finally, I have this weapon here. What is it called? I can't remember. The Trick Unforgiven, which has ridiculous critical hit damage. This is one that does require accuracy, but I just love this gun. It's a little slow to fire for a Jacobs, but it's got the coolest animation on reloading ever. And if you take a look, just quickly, 432% critical hit damage. This thing, when it crits, one-shots like weaker enemies straight away, and even tough enemies, it takes a real noticeable chunk out of their health. So this is another thing that can be quite good in Fight for Your Life. You're dropped on the ground, got an enemy near you, just line it up with the head, bang, you go back up straight away. Now, onto the actual equipment itself. My shield is a fairly simple one. The grounded recharger instantly begins recharging when broken, cooldown of 20 seconds. This basically means you've got almost double capacity. Have an attack that destroys your shield entirely, it instantly comes back. It's pretty nice. It's also got cryo resistance. Cryo is the worst thing Zane can be hit by, so a little bit of that is perfect to have. Now my artifact, this one isn't something all that great. It's the Ice Spiker Launchpad. It has bonus movement speed, which, as you can tell, is a theme of this build, so I stuck with it. It also fires cryo projectiles when you slam and has a nice cryo slam to it, so I've stuck with it for now. I'd like to have a higher level, because this is by far my lowest level piece of gear, but the Ice Spiker Launchpad is pretty decent, just for the movement speed and the cryo slam alone. Now, obviously Zane cannot throw a grenade, however, his drone and his digiclone both will throw grenades, and his gun will occasionally shoot a grenade. For this reason, you want something that's going to have a really good area of effect, so here we have the Stormfront. This is a shock grenade, which, I can't actually throw a grenade, can I? No, I cannot throw a grenade. I was going to show an example of it, but you'll see it in some of the footage I show in this video later on. It just kind of shocks everything in a huge area. It's very nice. All you really want to focus on with this build is to find a grenade with big area of effect. Avoid anything that's rubberized or might bounce back at you. Keep in mind that you could have grenades fire from your gun, from your digiclone, and from your sentinel all at the same time. So anything that's going to bounce back and hit you directly can be a bit of a problem. I was using Moxie's bouncing pair for a while, it was terrible, kept getting blown up. But this one right here is really good, just drops down and shocks everything in its path. Excellent to have. And the real star of the show in my little equipment thing is the Anti-Hero Prep Techspert. It boosts a couple of skills I don't care about too much. This is just shield based stuff, so my shield recharges better. The important thing is another kill skill, plus 5% chance on kill to recharge sentinel cooldown and duration. So your flying drone has a chance to be completely recharged whenever you get a kill, which happens a lot with this build. It is incredibly good. I also get plus 50% melee-1 accuracy, which combined with the Cutsman, a melee-1 gun, is pretty insane. Now with all the equipment and the skills out of the way, let's just look at this footage. This is me fighting through the, one of the circles, not circles, but trials of cunning, that's the one I was doing. And you'll see as I'm playing, I'm really focusing on just spraying damage out there, trying to wipe out any enemies I see, but constantly moving. This is not a build where you stand still and just pick off enemies, duck behind cover, that kind of stuff. I'm generally trying to sprint, bunny hop in circles around all my enemies. If I ever get stuck or start slowing down, I'll consider switching places with my digiclone. It's really all about momentum and just keeping yourself going. If you've played games like Titanfall or Titanfall 2 or anything where like momentum and speed are important, you'll probably have a really good time with this build, because you do just want to be able to sprint around. Keep in mind that the higher your movement speed, the higher your gun damage, so if you just keep moving, the damage is going to be off the charts. You will see me just shred for enemies as I sprint through. I don't even see the enemies die as well. And something you have to get used to with this build is kind of not watching enemies die. Just, that's why the Cutsman is so good as well. Because the slow projectiles will hit their target, they've got a wide enough area of effect. You just have to fire towards them as you sprint past, move on to your next target as you're reloading. You've got to be just confident enough to know that enemy is going to be dead as long as I don't stick around to watch it happen. As for when you should activate your action skills, It all is really going to depend on which ones you've got cooldown, but the cooldown on them is pretty quick, especially once you start getting Guardian tokens and all of that and can reduce it. It's a case of, at the start of combat, I'll try to bring out Sentinel straight away. Sentinel weakens the enemies and buffs me, which is just great. It makes it a lot better for combat. If I need some extra firepower, or I think things might go badly, I bring out the Digiclone. Best case scenario, the Digiclone will kill a whole bunch of enemies, throw out some grenades, and just be great in combat. Worst case scenario, I go down and I can just destroy the Digiclone in order to get back up. Destroying the Digiclone will also make it drop a free grenade, so it will still do some damage regardless. As you're running around, you'll want to be killing lots of the weaker enemies, and if you come across a particularly tough enemy, deal a little bit of damage to them whilst you've got your kill skills up, but as soon as it looks like the timers on the bottom are about to run out, find yourself a weak enemy to kill. You want those kill skills up as long as humanly possible in every single combat. When you've got your kill skills up, you are insanely strong and pretty difficult to kill because you just have ridiculous amounts of health regen, but once your kill skills go down, you're just some dude with some guns who can't do a lot really. So it's all about chaining kills together, just fighting non-stop as you sprint around, and just having fun really. Like, I've heard people talking about Flak being an amazing critical character, but Zane is just the most entertaining one for me to play. Like, I can sprint around the battlefield, wiping out enemies, and just kind of cackling like a madman. It really is just incredibly fun to play as him. If you want to get really good with this build, you're going to have to get to good grips with the movement in the game. You don't want to be like hitting obstacles, you want to know where everything is. It's really a build which takes a lot of skill to master, and I'm not even going to claim that I'm the person who's best with this build at all. Like, I've got alright with this build, but if you are really good at FPS games and really good with movement more than anything else, then you can likely do just amazing with this build. So that is going to be it for the video. I've done this in a very weird format. Normally with build videos I do them very structured and scripted, whereas this was just me being more conversational with it all. So in the comments below, do let me know if you enjoyed this, or if you prefer the scripted stuff. I am happy to do whatever you prefer. If you did enjoy, do make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more builds, let me know in the comments as well, and best way to let me know you want more builds is to share the video around. Share it to other people playing Borderlands. You know anyone who wants to play Zane? Show them this build, show them how fun Zane can be. If you want to talk to me and my community about Borderlands 3, then there is now a Borderlands free chat in the Discord. Link to the Discord is in the description below. I also occasionally will be posting Borderlands stuff on Twitter, just because I'm playing the game a lot. And that is going to be it from me for now. Support on Patreon if you're feeling so inclined, and make sure you're subscribed for more stuff like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.